Howdy. Good evening from Diversified Diecast. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It's about 9:30 Saturday night. I'm going to try to get done with the JDM import, whatever you want to call them. Everybody calls them something different, right? The main lines I talked about last night, and then I'm going to try to knock out the Toyotas right after this. And then we should be good on main lines until I open up the Zamax and the Target Reds. Those will be next. Not next after these two, but next as far as main lines, if you will. I've got 14 here. So preview is going to be bookend beginner. I think that's a 98 or 9. I didn't look at the back of these. I knew I was forgetting to do something. So we'll just kind of muddle our way through it. That right there. I really am excited to get this one open up on top. Got this from a guy local who has I'm going to call it a patio sale. He sits around on his back porch, about every other month. He'll invite guys over just on the pages and just say, hey, I'm trying to clear stuff out. Come over, $2 here, $3 there. Just come load your bins up. So I went and saw him once a few months back and bought a handful of things from him. And I don't know anything about that car from Nissan, but it's some kind of supercar they made. I'm assuming in the 90s. And it's got details on the front and rear. And I mean, it looks like a McLaren, right? So we'll check that thing out. I'm sure it's real nice. And then the other bookend is going to be this guy. So S15 Liberty Walk, not gold. So we'll just kind of jump right in. I was thinking about not doing turntable tonight, just kind of crank it out, shorten the length. So I may do that. Y'all probably want to see these on turntable, but they're going to be so close and right up in front of me. We'll get a pretty good look at them. And if you guys want to go back to turntable, then just say the word. We'll do it. We'll do it up, right? And I'll probably do the same thing on these. Since they're main lines, if they were more premiums, Auto Worlds, Giant Lightnings, M2s, Green Lights, etc., I would obviously do a turntable. I do in front as well, roll check, if you will, and a turntable. That way you have the best ability to review, what you're going to purchase, at a $7 to $10 ride, on the pegs. But for these tonight, just so I can get them cleared off the desk and get the bags rode up like these ones we did the other night, and kind of get them crossed off the list, I might just skip a turntable altogether, and we'll just do the front view and check under the carriage, the undercarriage and chassis and what have you. So give me just 1 second. This button still doesn't work on pause. It only works on stop. And I got the whole house quiet. They all went to bed. Had a long day with garage sale and baseball and everything else. So I finally got everything ready for tonight, and we'll just get right to it. So give me just 1 second. I'll lean up here, pause the camera, and we'll take a look. Okay, we're all situated now. So this is going to be from, it says 97, but I feel it might be 1998. Maybe it is 97. So I've opened up some of the Mazda castings from this time period. I like these cars and I collect them because they're double die cast for sure. Even in the ones that are after, the year model 2000. This is the Sugar Rush series. I think the other cars are the old Henry, or not the old Henry, sorry. Or maybe it is the old Henry. Or the Henry, I think it's a Charger or Coronet. It's yellow. I think one of them is a Sugar Daddy car. And I couldn't tell you what the other ones are. It says right here. Oh, different one. I guess they have more than just these four. This is number 1 out of those 4. These are just really nice cars. They're really well put together by Hot Wheels. The double diecast variant, for the mount is a cool touch too. And who doesn't like a Reese's? A few little imperfections. Nothing's perfect, right? But I got plenty of paint on the space. Got some decent detailing. At least they got a linked up drive shaft. No Bluetooth option there. Interior's okay. Got the wax pudding steering wheel, but not bad. These things roll great. I mean, they're awesome for, a mainline car. So smooth, nice and solid. No tempo or paint on the rear. It's got the middle insert as the lenses for the park lamps, if you will, and the blinkers, Miatas or flip ups on the headlights. There's that little guy. We'll move on to the next one. I know these two Subarus. I'm pretty sure I found them. There's a Family Dollar on the way to my deer lease up north of Dayton that is really undisturbed. I never have anything on the pegs, but I dug through about 4 boxes they had behind the counter because they steal stuff. I asked nicely, and I actually found these two. I think they're both from 2023. This one may be a 2023, and this one thinks a 2022, but they may be from the same year, just different color variants. But I remember getting these two cars, and I think this one was found. The gray one, I think, was found on the way out to West Texas earlier this summer. So this guy's Hot Wheels J Imports, car 2 out of 10, 21 out of 250 for the year. Pretty sure this one's a 2023, but it may be a 2022. WRX STI, doesn't say what year. These are really cool because I like the front end on them because they do have some tampoing. Nothing back there. Undercarriage is plain Jane. But, the car looks pretty good. If you had it sitting in a scene or, in one of your display cases or whatever, you could always, paint detail the rear. I'm starting to slowly get brushes, and I need to talk to Kentucky Custom about what kind of paint I really should use on these things if they're going to be painted straight to a standard casting. They're not impermeable, if you will. They're always, nothing's like a permanent marker, and even that'll rub off with certain chemicals. But I need to talk to him about what to use on these things. All right, next Subaru. It's got the same copyright year. I can't remember if this one was from the year before, year after, but same thing, different color variant. This one's 21 out of 250. So apparently it's from the same year. Hell, they all might be from the same year. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have known them to be 3 different color variants for 1 year, but who knows. The blue one's probably going to be the best looking one of the bunch. I do like this one because the metallic gray on is really nice. It's actually put together really well with the graphic. And again, I mean, why would you do it on the front and not do it on the back? Why? I think that's why a lot of people just skip over these because I was surprised to find these on the shelf. I mean, they're not a bug eye, Subaru WRX, but still a nice car, in the real world, and even this casting's pretty nice. But there you have that one. Nothing on top. I'm assuming that's a little antenna. Should know that. Okay, this little guy right here was a hot one, boy. I'll tell you, man. People were going nuts over this car. Mark IV Supra. This is 711 Silver Series. The standalone. I think this is a 2025 because we didn't really see them till springtime of this year. I apologize. I touched a few things outside in the garage. I actually, did a few things around here today, believe it or not, and pick up some of that nastiness on the camera. But 7-Eleven exclusive. To my knowledge, that's the only place you can get them. This one was a trade gift from a guy I trade with quite a bit, Chuck. I was grateful to get this one because I wasn't going to pay the scout fees for it. I was just going to wait until someone offered one in a trade, or if it was cheap enough, I would have bought one. But look at that. Nice detailing on the rear. That's the side. It looks just, oh man. This is 7-Eleven green, like all day. Kind of wish they would have made this thing a double die cast. This thing will almost be perfect. Very nice car. Larry Chin was involved with 7-Eleven did a commercial with a bunch of JDM cars. I was watching one of his videos a couple months back, and I think they spent like 8 hours getting the setup to film. It wasn't this car, obviously, but it had a bunch of other cars in the photo shoot, and it was really neat how all the work and grief and time they put into that stuff. Got some buried ghost graphics right there. All those graphics. Not sure what the other one says, but this car looks really good out of the package. About like I expected. Again, really disappointed that it being a silver series, it didn't have a flat black paint, double diecast bottom. That's all right. Still a nice one to add to the jammer cases. Eventually go on display somewhere. So if you haven't seen one out of the package, there you have it. I'm sure some of you enjoyed that. All right, this guy right here, like I said, um, I wasn't even actually really picking it because it had detailing on the front and rear. I just never seen one, and I think it's from like 2019 or 2020. Oh, so maybe 2022. Nonetheless, 64 out of 250 for the year it's in. Hot Wheels Turbo Sub Series, 4 out of 10. And it's the Nissan R390 GTI. This thing looks this good in the package. I've been wanting to. And it's a Ryu's Rides. It's got some kind of affiliation with that group. Oh, come on. All right. Not bad. Wow. Good detailing for a mainline, for sure. Paint's overall pretty good. It's not like spotty or hit and miss. When these cars have a lot of byline cracks in the casting, like you can kind of see some there. It's real hard for them to get paint shabbing to go away, but pretty good job on this one. Some of this is hand painted, not hand painted, but it's paint tempoing, not printed tempoing. A couple little hiccups there, but I mean, all in all, for a car that I haven't seen a casting of, I don't know if I just overlooked it from all the ones I bought or looked through. It's actually pretty nice, and you get the lunch tray undercarriage. How can you make a car look this good in a mainline on the front and the back and be so similar to a Steel Series? You get this. What is this? Looks like you took it on a belt sander, gave it a haircut. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing, man? Okay, this is a popular Skyline. I think it was a 2025 release, but it may have been late 2024. No, I think it was 2025. H case. Again, another really nice car, but nothing. Nothing. And as popular as the Skylines are, doesn't matter if it's a R32, 33, 34, 35. It don't matter. Those things get scooped up no matter where you're at. Skyline, Skyline, Skyline. It's like selling mattresses, You got a Skyline? Skylines. Oh, I'll take a Skyline. It's everywhere you go. You can never find them. Anything Skyline, Fast and Furious, square body. In Houston, they get a train ticket and they're gone. Scalpers are all over them. But the paint on this thing is really cool. Not only was it just a livery, it's just all over the place. It just screams, 90s JDM import. And the wheel choice was actually, probably the best one to match the paint with the contrast and everything. But the Godzilla Skyline, I think, has a painted rear, taillights, and I think it has a license plate on it too. But it's blank on the front. How come this car looks so good right there? And nothing. You don't get nothing. No options. That little Gizmo right there. And Easter eggs we got. This is R32, right? I'm sorry, I didn't even tell y'all. Fired. Oh, R33. See, if it had a little more detail in front of it, I probably wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have made this mistake. But there you have that one. Okay, you know I love the Matchbox Mainlines. Great value for the money. And 2025 release Lexus LC500 convertible on 2021 model. And you will see why you don't sleep on the Matchbox. If you're a mainline hunter and you like a nice mainline collection and you appreciate cars and detail and just attention to detail, this is why I buy Matchbox. Look, wow, look at what we got going on here. Might need to take a little X-Acto with a haircut. Anyway, look at the back. Lexus logo, got the model on there. Pretty red metallic paint. Pretty accurate to the real thing. Look at the front. Huh? For $1.25. It's a big stepper. This wasn't the most desirable mainline to have, but I like any Matchbox that pays attention to the details. And I've really come around to Toyota and Lexus in the past couple of years, and they make a fine machine. They always have. I just never really gave them a second look. But now that I'm older and I'm wiser, the fit and finish on those cars is second to none. Like, you just can't. I can't even explain to you until you ride in one, you drive a few, and you start looking into how they're built and the build quality. You can't touch them. I mean, and that's saying a lot from me as an American purist, but people change. So the other Subaru, it should be the same as the other two. But I really want to see this blue thing out of its skin because I'm sure it's really, really nice. And this is 2021, 2022-ish, maybe a 2023. And again, I'm not real sure on the other two. I didn't do my research, and I apologize. I knew I was forgetting to do something. But I was playing catch up today. I was bagging cars and writing on bags and getting the space cleared off and getting ready to film tonight. So look at that. Shiny. See? Look. Look at all that nice, pretty paint and tempos, good contrast. And then quitting time came around. They got whistle bit. They ejected out of that 4:30 meeting that day, and they said, well, we'll deal with it tomorrow. And there's no follow-up or meeting minutes distributed. Good looking mainline, though. I mean, when that thing's sitting, like that, not far away, not too shabby. Just really hate that. So I got a little project on these three. It's definitely going to get something done because those things are way too nice in the front to not have anything on the back. May end up possibly buying some tampos and trying that out. Been wanting to do that for a while. You buy them on the sheets, and I think you soak them in water with some kind of something that helps them stick to the paint castings. But it's very, very tedious, and it requires young, soft eyes. Okay, this is another thing that was kind of hard to fetch on the shelves, probably because of that, and obviously Godzilla, the movie was released last year, I think, and I'm pretty sure this is M case from last year. But this is the R33, just like the other one, same casting with the Godzilla livery on there. All those J imports. 5 out of 10. This one was 96, 250 for the year. See? Look at that. Got the old GTR license plate cover on the rear. Not perfect, but a really nice casting. Man, this car looks good in that graphite silver, doesn't it? This car needs a little treatment on the front for sure. And definitely a wheel swap. And there you have it. This is terrible. As popular as this car is in the diecast world, it should be something better than this. That is just no good. This must be a transparent tube exhaust system here. It's fed from the 3/4 section of the lunch tray. I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't. Okay, I only have one of these besides this one, I believe, and it's the black color variant. I think this is a 2023, maybe a 2024. 94 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. This thing is super detailed, and the other one I have, the black one, that has the same wheels as this Lexus. And these are not everywhere. I found this one, and I want to say it was at a Family Dollar. The other one was at a Family Dollar in the port that I'd never been to. And again, they had them stashed behind, hanging on pegs behind the cashier's counter because kids over there steal them. And I want to say this one I found in the middle of town, Houston, just at a random Family Dollar I stopped at. And it was literally hidden and buried behind everything else. But look, I mean, come on. See? Look at that. Look at that. Why can't Hot Wheels do that? On the super cult classic cars from the 90s that everybody's chasing these days, there's Skylines, Acuras, Hondas, all the JDM stuff. Do them up, man. I mean, come on. How are you going to let your sister company show you up like this? The black one I think is a little nicer, but this is more of an accurate wheel to what come on this car. And I don't think I ever saw one this color. They were red, black. My 6th grade teacher had a red one. Told y'all about that early on. Man, honestly, I don't know if I've seen one in person that wasn't red or black. There's a guy here in town I told y'all about. He's a younger kid, goes to the high school. He has a red one, looks almost identical to this, wheels and all. It's slammed. It's got a big old pipe out the back. And there's a parked black one not too far from the west side of town, almost into Pasadena. But I don't remember seeing one in this color. I'm sure it was a factory color, but I just don't remember having eyes put on one. But very nice. And see, look, wow. You can actually see what's under there. You know, catalytic converter, muffler, little resonator there. Look at that. Drive shafts. Oh, yeah. See, that right there, man, it kills me that Matchbox only makes 100 releases a year. But whatever, you know. Matchbox number 2 car for tonight. Well, number 3, actually, right? So we had the Lexus, this guy here, and the Mark V Supra. This is a 2024. And this one was 39 out of 100 for that year. But this thing is super nice. I think I've touched on this in a few other videos. If you don't know much about the newest generation Supra, I didn't know about it until probably 2 or 3 years ago when I was watching that dork Doug DeMuro. I'm not really a fan of him because he's such a nutball, but he does provide some good content. And apparently, he informed me and the rest of the world who watched him. This is essentially the same car as like a BMW M2. If I remember correctly, this is basically a BMW M2 with literally the Toyota shell on top of it. The M2 is very similar. It's basically just an M2 platform, but this car is just changed up a little bit in the grille and the bumper cover and the wheels and the interior with Toyota badging. And Jason Camisa, who does the Haggerty Legends or whatever, he's on YouTube. I watch him a lot. He did a little comparison shootout with him and another guy who he does a lot of content with. And apparently, I'm sure the Toyota purists are going to ding me for this, but apparently the BMW is actually a little bit better car. I don't think it's a better looking car. I think the Supra looks better myself, but Anyway, I guess until you own one or you ride one and drive one, you really can't comment, right? All right, this is an older one. I want to say it's from 2019. It's a first gen Skyline, so it's 2020 or 2021. Then and now sub series car 9 out of 10, Skyline 2000 GTR. And it's 180 out of 250 for this year. I'm assuming that's probably 21. This one's probably going to be pretty nice. It doesn't have painter tempo detailing on the front and rear, but they did use the casting insert for the coloring of the front grille and the rear valance, if you will. And it does look good in between the yellow and the black. So they did make an attempt. And the casting's got some decent weight to it. It's not double. It's plastic base, but it's some nice detail under there. See? See? This is good. This is very, very nice. I like that. Paint's really good. Stripes are all on it and all dinged up, beat up. Wheel choice is actually pretty good. It's pretty appropriate for this time period. Probably really more an appropriate time period for the early mid-70s Celica. But this is the only one that I have in a mainline in this casting. So I was very happy to have it. I love yellow. I think it's very fitting for this car. Something different. And it is a very nice example of how you'd want one of these cars. Really can't tell much about the interior. Right-hand drive, obviously. Very nice. Glad to see that. That's a really good job. Oh, yeah. That's, it's going to be a tough one to pick these mainlines. You have to kind of count this one out because it's almost a mid-grade, it being a silver series. But I think so far, these two, and maybe the Lexus, but I'm not as big of a fan about this car because it's too new. I don't know much about it, but if this car had front tampoing, it'd be on top. But it's right now it's a little duke out between these two. But we haven't opened up the S15 yet. I think that car is going to be stunning with that gold paint. Okay, fun fact about the Toyota Celica. I was talking to my mom today. She came over to visit while we're doing the garage sale, and she went to my youngest boy's baseball game. And I knew that she had an early 70s Toyota Celica when her and my dad first got married. I think she had it for a few years. And that was the only non-domestic vehicle I think my dad ever actually owned besides a Nissan Hardbody, which that truck went to a family member of mine, or actually his cousin. And I asked her, I said, it was kind of hard for me to believe that he would have bought a Toyota, but I mean, he bought it for you, or y'all bought it, whatever. And I said, how'd you like it? She goes, I love that car. It was silver and it was a little hatchback. It was a manual. And she goes, I like that car. It drove really good. We had zero problems with it. I had it for probably 3 years. And I just didn't have any complaints, but it was kind of small, for him. My dad was tall and he liked big and comfy, right? And my mom was not a tiny person either. She's like 5'6" or 5'7". But she goes, I like that car, especially for back then with all the fuel crisis crap going on. But I've never rode in one from this era. This is obviously a little earlier than the one she had. This is a 70 Hot Wheels City what does I say? 2013. This would have been an A case. And I don't know much about the Celicas from the early 70s, but I got a little feedback from an actual owner today, like I said, my mom. And there's no more honest person than my mother. I mean, you got to take that thing for church because it is. Okay, last one. Bookend holder is going to be that Sylvia S15 that my boy down in Rio Grande City threw in as a bonus ride, if you will, in the gift box. And I have this car casting in the 57th anniversary Hot Wheels set. I found it at an HEB Plus, I think. in San Antonio when I was going to the property, and that was the only one I have until now. I think this is from, I'm gonna guess this is 2023 G case. Maybe a little newer. Maybe a 2022. I don't know. Liberty Walk livery. That's a nice car. Mm-hmm. Pretty, ain't it? Anyway, there you have it. Let's pick three favorites before we close this thing out. I would say, man, this is tough. Okay, Subarus are all together. You know, I was over here looking all studly. The first one, I think, this is really hard. I want to say it'd be one of these, but then I also have these maybe as honorable mentions. Um, this is a nice car, but I can't really include it. This is definitely probably the most detailed car here, obviously, right? With tampoing, and the paint is just, it's not shiny or beautiful, but it's really nice, and the Tampo livery is really good. This car is really well put together. I'll give it that. But picking straight up mainlines from Hot Wheels or Matchbox here, as far as authenticity, if you will, probably be this guy, that 390 R390 GTI, whatever the hell they call it. The Skyline is definitely, these two are duking it out. I can't, it's a split decision. I can't make my mind up. And then the honorable mentions, like I said, would probably be the Mitsubishi and the Sylvia S15. Well, if you don't agree with that, obviously that's what the comment section is for. Tell them what y'all like, tell them what y'all don't. They were all nice. I mean, these are all clamshell collects for me. These are ones I pulled out of the stock. You know, wasn't just ones I had just got recently. I've had these for a little bit, and like I said, I plan to keep them on cards. But that my style just changed real quick. I got tired of storing everything in totes. You can't look at these things. You can't see them. You know, when you want to show off your collection, they're all buried. You know, and they're never going to be worth serious money. Buy these things, get them out, enjoy them, play with them. And as you go through your collection every few months or every 6 months or a year or whatever, you'll go through and go, you know, I've got three of this car. Do I really need all three? No. Someone would love to have this car as Lucy. Even a kid, give it to them. Let them play with it. Let them crash it. Let them put dents all over it. That's what they're for. Or someone has a big Subaru collection and maybe just this casting. They don't have this color variant. Give it away. Or if they really, really, really want the one you have, and you have two others and you can live with it, give them this one. These are all blister pools. They're all going to be perfect. They're never going to get played with, you know, like, you know, a kid will. So just allow yourself to enjoy these things. That's what they're meant for kids. It's meant for us. They don't need to live on cards. They're going to eventually get damaged. They're going to get aged. Paint's going to start to fade. They don't belong in those things. Let's just be honest. Before I get off here, I want to tell a little quick story. I saw someone post something today on one of the many groups I'm on Facebook, and they had the collector's cars. I would say they're probably from 2005 to 10. I think some of them had real riders tires, some of them didn't. These things are probably, you know, approaching 20, 25 years old. They may have been even from the late 90s. I'm not real sure. These were kept, nothing in climate control. They were probably kept out in the garage, inside totes or cardboard boxes or whatever. And I guess they have some moving parts on them. And so they have the rubber bands. You know, like I talked to you about on the M2s, why I take all my cubes out, all my Blazers and all these other cars that have rubber bands on them and cut them off, because I've heard horror stories from a few other guys I watch on the internet that over time, the heat and the oils from rubber bands, anything with rubber has petroleum in it, it just starts to dry rot and crack, and it basically adheres itself, you know, to the paint of the car. So this guy's trying to sell these things and trade them off, and they have all this damage from all these rubber bands on the front and rear of the car. Yeah, they're in boxes, and the boxes aren't in that great a shape, and they're still sealed up, but the car's basically worthless, in my opinion. Like a true collector, you know, who's going to get these things out and enjoy them. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Those minute those things hit my mail drop, the box is getting opened up. I'm pulling those cars out of the box. They're getting all cut open, and they're gonna be free. And if the whole thing has a whole paint blister all the way around it, or it has, imprints or fade marks from the banding being stuck to it, the car is worthless. You might as well have to make it a custom. So again, like I said, they are not made to live inside of a clamshell. Some of them nowadays have the display boxes like the NO64s and the M2s and the inner clamshell in the boxes like some of the other cars I have. That's fine. You're constantly getting those cars in and out, and they're getting some fresh air, right? You're getting to wipe them off. You're getting to dust them off. They're not living in hibernation, you know. So, all right, ran over. This one went a lot longer than I thought it would. 35 minutes. It's probably a good thing we didn't turntable them. But we got these knocked out. They're off the queue, if you will, and we'll close this one out for tonight. We'll get into the Toyotas. Like I said, we got some J80 series Land Cruisers, an older um, Land Cruiser, and a couple of the trucks, and I got those two AMC Eagles. So thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all's support. Thank you for y'all's time. And we will close this one out and go to the next. Have a good night.